Well, the only thing we can do is continue to spread the word like what we're doing. And speaking of disease, as my wheelhouse is really helping people reverse their type 2 and prediabetes. And I know
Yeah.
you're of the same position as me where I'm 100%. Well, I know that type 2 and pre can be reversed because I've helped many clients do that. And I've actually learned from you a very specific protocol. It's about the 90 essential nutrients. You want to talk a little bit about that, how our body needs these 90 essential nutrients? And this is something I learned from you, and it's amazing. So I'd like you to talk about that, and why our bodies need these 90 essential nutrients and how it's really critical in reversing any disease, but specifically pre and type 2 diabetes.
Well, in years ago, I think it was from the mid 80s. I forget the dates exactly, but for 10 years, from the mid 70s to the mid 80s, a colleague of mine, Joel Wallach, was in charge of a $25 million study. And the result of that study took 10 years for the study to complete. I don't know how many autopsies they did, like 20,000 autopsies,
Wow.
millions of blood chemistries and histopathologies. That research wrote the book on medical nutrition. Literally, it's in the Smithsonian. I mean, have you ever heard of a chicken or a pig or a cow or a calf getting type 2 diabetes?
Right.
Or arthritis or congestive heart failure? No, you haven't because it doesn't happen. Because our household dog or cat or the livestock that's grown, 10 miles from your house are healthier than human beings are, because the people who are involved in this industry make sure that their animals get 100% of their nutritional needs every day in the food that they're given.
Right.
Humans don't get that. So the numbers are in. There are 90 nutrients which are considered essential to the health of the human body. And an essential nutrient is something that the body needs, but it cannot make it. Well, calcium is an essential nutrient, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin B, omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids. There are 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs just to work the way that nature and God intended it to, let alone fix itself. Just to maintain its position, there are 90 essential nutrients. The kicker is that these essential nutrients are not all present in the food chain. And because of the way that food is grown now, and interestingly enough, because of certain foods that we eat, the nutrients that the body needs are getting less and less and less and less saturated in the food that we eat. And some of the food that we eat, wheat, barley, rye, and oats specifically, leaches out of the body many of the essential nutrients that are already in there.
What? The what?
So as time goes by, our bodies become less and less and less and less filled with the essential nutrients that they need to maintain their integrity. And this is the root cause of the majority of chronic diseases. In 1957, for goodness sakes, medical doctor, 60 years ago, a medical doctor named Walter Mertz proved and published that he could turn type 2 diabetes on or off in laboratory mice by withholding or delivering the trace mineral. You give blood sugar is normal, you remove, the little rodent gets type 2 diabetes. It's not genetic. It's a nutritional deficiency illness. And the diet that we eat has driven levels in the food into the gutter. But your medical doctor, who is in charge of your health care, has no training, no appreciation, no respect, and no clinical experience with medical nutrition. Zero. Nada. Niet. They get nothing. They don't know any of this.
Oh, but doctor, I just can go on metformin, then my diabetes will go away, right?
Yeah. Again, your diabetes will be managed.
Right.
And as you go down the road, right, so this is an interesting thing that pharmacists know this, but most medical doctors don't. Nobody on the street knows this. Again, it's not the drug, it's how it's used, right? Thank God for, Novocaine and penicillin. So when a drug is metabolized in the human body, when you swallow a drug, it exerts a metabolic influence in the body. It pushes some biochemical pathways this way and suppresses others. it upregulates the biochemistry of your body, which is made out of essential nutrients. So as the drug works in your body, it burns through your essential nutrient levels, which were low to begin with.
Right.
So this is why when, for instance, you get put on a blood sugar medicine or a blood pressure medicine, it works pretty okay for 6 or 7 months, and then it stops working. And then they need to increase the drug, increase the dose. Then they need to add a second drug or a third drug or a fourth drug. Why is this? Because the action of the drug has made your essential nutrient levels lower than they were to begin with.
Right.
You don't think the pharmaceutical industry knows this? You don't think the people that are making the drugs are smart enough to understand this?
Right.
What would happen if they put essential nutrients in with the drugs? They'd need to sell less drugs.
Yeah.
It's not a good business model.
Not a good business model.
And they can get away with it because they're the king. And, it's good to be the king. You can do whatever you want when you're the king.
My clients are just always thrilled when they're able to, get off insulin and metformin in under like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you wouldn't believe, well, you would believe.
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't believe the things that myself and my colleagues have seen people recover from. And look, we need to make one thing very clear here.
Yeah.
This is not a guaranteed panacea cure-all for all human ills. That's why I entitled my latest book, Attempt a Cure. Because once people get into our arena, once people see the light and they jump the fence from allopathic medicine to naturopathic medicine, there are different degrees of damage which have already been done to their body. And there is a point of no return. Mm-hmm. Beyond which the body just can't fix it. There is. Mm-hmm. So we intervene. Mm-hmm. We counsel people to stop eating food that's gumming up the works. We counsel people to swallow nutritional supplements that are easily absorbable, that fill their body's nutritional tank and attempt to get on the other side of the illness.
Right.
And, that's a really smart thing to do. And everybody needs to do it. But this is the best kept secret in the wonderful world of the modern age. Right. And into the bargain, because this is a patently holistic intervention, mm-hmm. when you are, attempting to get on the other side of arthritis or a blood sugar issue or migraine headaches or menstrual cramps or restless legs at night in bed or heartburn or whatever it is that's ailing you, mm-hmm. with a holistic method, as your chief complaint brightens up, a lot of other things brighten up as well. Your mood gets better. Your energy gets better. Your sleep gets better. Your little minor aches and pains get better. Why? Well, because the body knows how to fix itself. The body wants to fix itself. The body is trying to fix itself all the time. And now, for the first time in your life, your body has had the raw materials that it needed to do that. And your body's ability to fix itself is
And
much greater than anybody has led you to believe. And it's a remarkable thing.
Yeah, and I personally, and I think you'll agree with me, but I personally think that diabetes, pre and type 2, are pretty easily reversible. I mean, I think it's very easy, actually. I hate to say that, but I look at diabetes like cancer. I think I don't see cancer and diabetes very different as far as the body's ability to be able to reverse itself if you give it the right things. Now, I know people are going to disagree with me on that, but I don't care because I was able to reverse my cancer, and I've seen too many times with some of your methods and with learning from you and just with coaching clients that diabetes is not type 1, because we all know what type 1 is, but pre and type 2, it's depending on the stage, it's pretty simple to reverse. Yeah,
because as far as we're concerned, those things are driven by nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah.
And what do? You give the body the nutrients it needs. I mean, it's not really any different than taking your car in for a tune-up.
Right.
New oil, new transmission fluid, top off the water, right? Put air in the tires, put oil in the you make it all better, and the car runs. Right. And if you didn't do any of that, right? If you never took your car in for a tune-up, ever, and if every time you put gas in the tank, you put half a tank of unleaded and half a tank of diesel fuel,
what's going to happen?
It's only a matter of time until that car craps out. And there's nothing wrong with the car. You just put the wrong fuel in it and you never tuned it up. Well, that's exactly what we do to our bodies. And, then we're amazed that all these things start to happen. And then we look around at all our friends, and son of a gun, the same thing's happening to all of them. So we think to ourselves, well, that's just life. No, it's not.
Right.
It's life under the care of conventional medicine, which is great for trauma care, but horrible
Mhm.
for everything else.
I wish we had time today to talk about a ketogenic diet, but we don't, because we all know what the ketogenic diet is doing for people with disease, right? We'll have to schedule time just to talk about the 12 bad foods and all of that another time, because that's a whole nother topic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to learn
So
and
much.
know and understand here. I mean, I'm surprised we were able to pile as much into what little time we had today. I think we did a good job.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to talk about your book. You mentioned it. This book, you guys, by the way, is brilliant. It is such a good manual for anybody out there that's struggling with a certain ailment. It's full of amazing information. So I would recommend that you guys all get it. And here's the kicker, is that Dr. Glidden is giving you guys a special deal just for my listeners. So if you go to his website, drglidden.com, and you get this book, you're going to get it for 50% off. Thank you, Dr. Glidden, by the way. That's so incredibly nice of you.
Yeah, well, we need to rising tide lifts all boats, and people need to be exposed to this information because nobody knows this. Well,
Yeah.
a handful of, there's less than 5,000 licensed naturopathic doctors in the whole world, and there's less than 200 that have more than 30 years of clinical experience like myself. So we are rare birds. We need to put this information out. I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
The coupon code, by the way, to get the 50% off is Teri, all uppercase, Teri. You'll get the book at 50% off. I talk about 88 different illnesses in the book and what the medical doctors think about it and what the naturopaths think about it and how they treat it and how we treat it. It's a self-help health recovery manual. It also gives you a little bit of historical understanding of how we got into the pickle that we're in right now, and I'm very, very proud of it.
It's brilliant. It's so good. I've read the whole thing twice already, and I still go back and look at it. And you have some other books too. The Emperor Has No Clothes. I've read that book. That's amazing. You can get that on Amazon. So if you want to stalk Dr. Glidden like I have been doing, you can find all of his information on his website, and he has a membership site, and he's just amazing. I would highly recommend that you do that. The other thing I want to say before we close is that thank you, Dr. Glidden, for your time today, but also I'm so happy and honored that you were able to write the foreword for my new book, Refuse Diabetes, which is coming out in June. Thank you for that. And it's going to be such an amazing guide for people who are struggling with type 2 and prediabetes, who don't know what they need, who don't know where to go and what to do. And I coach you a lot in the book, as you know, and so I'm just very proud of that too. So thank you.
Well, my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. And, it's not like the frustrating thing here, Teri, that you understand, is it's not like this information is hidden. I mean, the diabetes stuff was uncovered in 1957. The reason that it's not mainstream is because of the medical monopoly. And it's not in the interests of the pharmaceutical industry to issue in a cure for anything. So this information has always been there, but everybody is neglecting it. And it's up to people like you and me and other people who are willing to stand up and be counted just to say, hey, look, you know what? There is another way. I think you should probably give this a try. Do a little in-house experiment for 90 days and see how far back your body can bounce, because once again, your body's ability to fix itself is 1,000 times greater than anybody has led you to believe.
You're amazing. You're amazing. I hope we can do this again real soon. Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, again, to get Dr. Glidden's book, you can go to his website and you'll get the book for 50% off with the code Teri, capital Teri. And I will also be listing in the comments here where you can get my new book, Refuse Diabetes, that Dr. Glidden wrote the foreword for. And then I'll put his links and stuff in all the information below this video. So thank you so much, Dr. Glidden. You are the bomb. I appreciate your time today. And I hope my listeners learned a lot. I'm sure they did, because as I always learn from you, and my mouth is like to the floor every time I listen to you. So
it's my pleasure, Teri Dale. Keep up the good work. I think that the things that you're doing are much more important than you realize that they are. So never, ever, ever give up.
Thank you. Thank you.